Ooh, hey, how y'all doing? And welcome to another Flourishing Conversations podcast. My name is Nicole P. Doyle, and I am your community engagement concierge. As I like to say, welcome to the homeschool community, and how may I be of service to you? And so tonight we have a very special guest with us today. Well, all the guests are special because I only know like the most amazing people that I have met lately on this homeschooling journey. But we have Miss Allison Williams with us tonight, and we are going to be talking about homeschooling those precious and lovely littles. I always crack a joke about the fact that you can tell when people work with little kids and they love it. So it's not the same energy of people who work with middle schoolers. It is not the same energy. People who work with the littles, kind of like our friend of the show, Tiffany Blessingame, whenever she walks into a room, even with adults, she will say, "Hi, friends." And you're like, so like she's greeting a kindergarten class everywhere she goes in life. And so we have Miss Allison Williams here, and she's going to talk to us more about her fabulous company that she has called Tutor Tots Online. So I'm going to introduce Allison and let her take it away. So Allison is the founder and the lead instructor for Tutor Tots Online, a virtual tutoring and homeschool program for young kids. She has worked in the educational community for over 10 years as a classroom teacher, a private tutor, a curriculum developer, and now a edupreneur or teacherpreneur, as we call them, because she is having this amazing opportunity. Through Tutor Tots, Allison aims to provide students with high quality access to an education that is flexible and in a convenient format. So many of our parents are excited that they have the opportunity to really have Allison help them, guide them through these early years, because she is just dedicated to the little hearts and stewarding them towards something amazing with education and having educational joy. So I want to say, welcome, Allison, to the Flourishing Conversation podcast. Hey, girl.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that lovely introduction. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. I'm Allison, and I cannot wait to get into this conversation with you and share my story and give some tips to all those parents out there who have little children. That is my specialty.
Well, like so many people in this new space, this new educational landscape of innovators, I've always wondered, what does that look like when people have that idea and they say, you know what, I'm going to go from the classroom space to I'm going to start a company, because at the end of the day, you all are starting businesses. And so what can you share with us, what inspired you to create this program, and how are possibly some of I always feel like everything in your story leads to what you're supposed to do. So can you lay that out for us a little bit?
Absolutely. So I will say I have always wanted to start my own business. I feel like, even from high school and college, I was a babysitter. I remember my first, I guess, entrepreneurial journey was when I rented out, how they have those indoor playgrounds with the inflatable bouncy houses. I rented out the party room in one of those, and I had a summer camp over the summer. So I've always kind of had that aspiration to have something of my own. And I had an online boutique at one point. So I always knew I was meant to be kind of a boss. I knew I always wanted to run my own thing. And when the pandemic occurred and we were sent home and I was teaching virtually, I fell in love with it. I was good at it. My students were still learning, and I realized all my other teacher friends they did not like it. I noticed all my friends on Facebook were kind of complaining about it. Their children were not enjoying it. The teachers were not enjoying it. And I was sitting here why is everyone complaining? Virtual learning, this is where it's at. So I started tutoring along with working, in the school system from home, I started tutoring after hours. So I started off with my niece. I wanted to see, like, can I really tutor a 5-year-old, a young child? And so she was 5 at the time. And I started tutoring her one-on-one and just kind of working out some different techniques. And she really enjoyed the sessions. And so then I said, well, let's start inviting some of your friends to come in. And then I had little group classes. And before I knew it, I was like, okay, this is a whole thing. So I was teaching for the county during the day. And then around 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night, I was putting on classes. I had small group classes of like 3 or 4 children. I was providing materials and sending them home and meeting on Zoom. And it was beautiful. So as the pandemic was still occurring, I remember it was January 2021, and they were sending all the teachers back into the classroom. And I just decided that I wasn't going to go back. I said, you know what? I'm going to take Tutor Tots Online full force. I'm going to believe in myself and take this full time. I signed my resignation papers, and that's what I did. And that's what I've been doing. Fast forward to 2025, and it's just so wonderful to still be here, to still be doing it and still be loving it. I think I was one of those teachers, like after 5 years, I was like, there's no way I'm going to be teaching in the classroom for 30 plus years. I don't see how teachers do this. So I was starting to kind of lose my love for teaching, but teaching virtually really brought that spark back for me because I had more control of how I was teaching, what I was teaching, and who I was teaching it to. And so I'm here to stay. I love it. So that's how I started Tutor Tots Online. And another side note, not just the pandemic, but also if you can kind of remember, that was around the time of like George Floyd and all the protests. And there was a lot of talk on social media about community, like what are we doing for our community? We need to, build our community and look out for each other. And so I knew that I didn't want little children that look like me to be at a disadvantage because of the whole virtual learning. So I wanted to do something that was like, okay, I have to provide something that kids actually enjoy. And we need them to still be learning, even though we're stuck at home. So that was another reason why I really, really dedicated myself to making virtual learning fun for the younger age group. Oh, you're on mute.
So this is the part of the show where every time the second question comes up, I am on mute. like how many times am I going to do this? So one of these days I'm going to be like, can I get a producer? But I was listening to everything that you were saying, what I heard was that, so this did not start today. You've had that I can create my own for a long time, and everything. And I got a chance to meet her mom today, y'all. Actually, today. So we were at the Georgia Can Atlanta Expo, School Choice Expo today. We're there. If you look at Georgia Black Home Educators Facebook, you'll see us. We have some live thing. Please do not critique my camera skills. I'm like almost 50. You should be satisfied the camera was not turned toward me. So at this point, but what I'm hearing from your story is that you said this started young. You had the ability to do this because it's very interesting. Like I will see teenagers who have this ability to like captivate young children. That was always that was not my gift. That was not my gift. I'll be like, okay, because they don't want to listen. So obviously you had the ability to keep their attention, but going into teaching, and once you went into teaching, being able to take a very difficult situation, because I'm pretty sure, like you said, a lot of teachers did not like the virtual environment, but you saw like freedom and creativity in the virtual environment. But also what I heard from you as an entrepreneur is that you tested your idea with your niece.
Yeah.
And I think many of us think about this educational landscape and say, oh, well, I have an idea, and then they just jump and go do it. But just like any business, you're getting a business plan, you're thinking it through, you have mission, you have what your vision is, but you're also testing out those things. So, and that's amazing that you're able to keep the attention of a 5-year-old online. That right there is like, girl, we're gonna give you a round of applause for that, because some of us can't keep a 5-year-old's attention in the room
Right.
at all. But I know those early learners, they can be challenging, and a virtual setting is can be also. But you seem to have mastered this. What's some of the strategies and the techniques that you feel like ensure that a child can be excited about all the wonderful things you're teaching them?
Oh, okay. That is the $1 million question. I would say that's the one thing that the most people ask me all the time. Like, how do you keep little kids entertained online? Or when parents ask, how long are your classes? And I say it's an hour. They're like, oh no, my child is not going to be able to sit down for an hour. And I always challenge them to like, well, give me a try. Let's just see. So my top tips, first of all, the way that I set up my lessons, I keep up with their attention span. So we're not on one topic for a long stretch of time. We'll spend 15 minutes doing this, and then 15 minutes, we're moving on to the next thing. So it may be 15 minutes of math, 15 minutes of reading, 15 minutes of an arts and craft activity, 15 minutes of, a game or something like that. So I'm keeping up with them. So it's almost like they have to keep up with me. I'm like, okay, we're done with this. Turn the page, keep it going. Here we go. So it's almost like, they're chasing after me in class. So I definitely keep up with their attention span. I feel like most kids are in between being visual learners and kinesthetic learners. So I think with the virtual world, it is, I've blended it kind of nicely. So even though we're online, I provide materials. I provide workbooks and manipulatives. I cut out little, arts and craft things for them. So they have materials in front of them while we're learning. So they're not just staring at me talking on the screen the whole hour. We're engaged in different materials. We're cutting and we're gluing and we're coloring and we're pasting and we're holding things up. So I think having the perfect blend of hands-on as well as visual. I love Canva. Okay. Anything that you can imagine up here, you can make it on Canva. So I think that is a top skill that all entrepreneurs need to know, teachers need to know, and these children growing up need to know. I mean, I've taught my niece how to use Canva, and she can make PowerPoint presentations better than me. So my visuals are very attractive, and things are popping up and moving around, and I incorporate a lot of videos and pictures to bring my lessons to life. And another thing is just having a really positive environment. Even though we're virtual, I feel really close to my students. So it's still a classroom. We come in, we say, good morning, how was your day? Show me your homework. It feels like a classroom, even though most of my students I have not met in person, but it doesn't feel that way. So I think even just my teaching style and just the vibe that is set also keeps them really entertained and makes them want to be there. They feel seen, they feel appreciated and loved. So I think of all of that mixed together is like my secret recipe to a successful program.
So it was like when you were talking, I was actually taking some notes. And so a couple of things that I noticed you said, that she talked about attention span, that she breaks things up into 15-minute attention spaces or projects and things for children to do to keep them interactive. Another idea that you had that I thought was really cool was that you talked about the visual and hands-on engagement. Now I want to drill down on this one because you are working with the Ferguson School. And so Tiffany Blessingame, once again, our girl, she talked about that you sent over a kit. So can you explain that kit? I don't even know if I should have asked you to have one available.
I wish I did. Okay. Yeah, I'm preparing for the unit coming up. I wish I had some items to show you. So yeah, the kids have workbooks. They have so the activities that I plan. Okay, so to talk more about some different activities, kids are really simple. I think a lot of times when we think about children, we feel like we have to have, paint, and we have to have this and all of that. But when I plan lessons, I really try to think of, what are some simple materials that I can easily access or that parents can easily find that are still really engaging. You would be amazed at what you could do with stickers. So one of the activities that we are going to do for this upcoming unit, we're learning addition. And we're going to do addition using stickers. I'm going to put an equation up on my screen, maybe something simple like 2 + 3, and they will get 2 stickers and put it in the box, draw their plus sign, and then put 3 stickers. So it's hands-on. They're still building that skill of addition. They get to touch and feel those stickers with their fingers, so it's tactile. And then we're counting the stickers and writing down our answer. We can get stickers from the Dollar Tree. So it takes a boring worksheet and adds this extra element that makes them feel like they're playing. That's the thing. Like, the lessons need to feel like they're playing. That, oh, we get to do stickers today. What are we doing with this? There's this element of like, what's up Miss Allison's sleeve today? So when they're pulling these materials out of their box, I try to incorporate things that are like, oh, what are we doing with it? What pipe cleaner? What are we doing today? Oh, today we have, pom-poms and, what is this? So it's always this element of surprise, but it's always very meaningful. And there's always a purpose to every piece that I put in those materials that I sent to them. So yeah, simple materials can go a very, very long way. Another thing that we're going to be doing, we're learning about Alma Thomas, who is a famous African-American painter. And I was thinking like, okay, I want them to paint, but I don't want to send paint. And I don't want the parents to have to go get paint, because another thing about my program is to make it stress-free for parents. So I found paint sticks. They're just like little paint sticks. They're kind of like crayons. You just twist them up and they dry as soon as you write with them on paper. So there's always a way to work around what you think may be a big mess or a problem. There's always an easier way. So just doing a little research. Pinterest is a great place to find some really fun, hands-on, simple activities using things that you probably can find at the Dollar Tree or already at your house.
Yeah, when you were saying like Pinterest, I've gotten so many creative ideas for things to do from Pinterest, even using Pinterest to go through how to do. We have older kids, so how to do more of a graphical outline for note taking.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do have some kids who are like, just taking a regular Cornell notes. They want to have something where they can draw in the margins and things like that. So it's like, yeah, that right there, what you're doing, it never ends. They are trying to find a way to, still want things to be, visual and hands-on. Your last tip that you gave was to stay positive. And you said it's a vibe.
Yeah.
Your classroom is a vibe. And I think and I wanted to say, like, for homeschooling as a parent, it is also a vibe because you're setting up something at your home,
right,
and everything. And of course, what you're making it so much easier by sending the kid. I always say, like, hey, parents, you got your part in this too, to try to create, less distractions. Put the dog up. Don't let the dog come running back and forth while the baby's doing school, things like that. But you said it's a vibe. So in that vibe, what are the kids seeing? Are they seeing like a classroom setting, or are y'all just, what do you bring to that? Because you are a bubbly person naturally. So
I think it's just about being comfortable. For me as a child, and still as an adult, I'm introverted. I'm quiet. So it sometimes takes a lot to draw me out of my shell. And so going into a situation with different children, I acknowledge that. So I'm really open to different personalities. And I know how to make everyone feel comfortable in the room. So I like to think of teaching as being a coach or a cheerleader. Like, I'm there to just pep you up and cheer you on. I celebrate everyone's success wherever they are. So it's never a competition in the classroom. I never put anybody down. I always notice growth, no matter how big or small somebody may see it. Growth is growth, and it's worth being celebrated. So I think it's just about being comfortable. I think everyone feels special. Everybody's voice gets heard. And it's structured, but it's laid back. We're always doing something different. We can laugh, we can joke in the classroom. I don't know. I think it does have to do with just my personality and just making sure everyone's happy. And if they're not happy, letting them know that that's okay too, that that's normal. If we're tired today, if we're sad today, if you don't want to feel like answering questions today, I totally understand. I have those days too. So just being really accepting of everybody, however they show up, is really, really important to me. And yeah, so I think that just makes everybody want to show up in their best form, because they know however they are, Miss Allison's going to celebrate them either way.
It's interesting because when you were talking about that you have this space where the kids just feel comfortable, I do think that nurturing safe environments, it's the tone of your voice. Mm-hmm. It's the look on your face, because sometimes I remember when I was tired once before and I was talking to some kids, they were like, did we do something wrong? And I was like, no, baby, like, I'm so sorry. Let me perk up my eyes, because my eyes are conveying to you that I don't want to, that I'm just tired. But you're being young and trying to get into the fact you're trying to understand emotions. You're like, is she dissatisfied? Did I do something wrong? So that vibe goes a long way. But I want to talk more about something that is your unique vibe.
Okay.
And that is that you are also providing these really cool, new for the month of February, interactive unit studies. And so I saw you post it on Facebook, and you were talking about then and now, celebrating Black excellence. I think often when people think about Black history and little children, they go, oh no, we will not be teaching trauma. And this is not what you're doing in that way. Not that there isn't a space to know all of history.
Right.
But I just I love your approach to what you're doing. So did you want to talk more about the then and now that you're doing with that?
Absolutely. Thank you for letting me talk about it. Yes. This is probably one of my favorite units. So then and now, so my units are always skills-based and standards-based. And one of the standards for kindergarten is that children need to understand history. They need to understand, what does the past mean? What is past versus present? How did we live then versus how do we live today? And so I wanted to incorporate Black history into that. So not only are we talking about how, inventions have changed over time, how clothing and homes have changed over time, but I've just found a kid-friendly way to dig a little bit deeper into it. So I opened up the unit actually talking about school, because I feel like all children can relate to that. And I do it through analyzing pictures. So I have all these Black and white pictures that are taken from, the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. And they're just of little schoolhouses from on the outside and on the inside. I show them how children used to dress. I show them what school boxes used to look like. I even have this picture of what school lunch used to look like in the 60s. And then we would compare it to how it looks today. So I'm setting the scene for what history is. What did life look like in the past? And we just have these discussions. And you may say, like, a 4-year-old, 5-year-old talking about this, but I've taught this unit for 3 years now, and you would be blown away at the responses and the questions and the revelations that these young children came up with by looking at these pictures. They noticed that schools were made out of wood, and that they were much smaller, and they only had one room, and there were 20, 30 kids with one teacher. They didn't have computers. They didn't even have paper in some of those pictures. They were all writing on the one large chalkboard in front of the classroom. And so all of these discussions were coming up. And so that's how I set up our unit. And then we go into sports. We talk about how sports have changed. And we highlight, Jackie Robinson in his contributions. We highlight how uniforms have changed over time, just everything. We talk about clothing. We talk about fashion. Alma Thomas, I brought her up, who did not become really famous for her painting until she was older. She was like 80 years old. So we talk about the value of humans as young as Ruby Bridges at 6 years old to older in our age at 80 years old, and how we can all make a difference and all make an impact on society. I recently added Stevie Wonder. He's literally my favorite artist. So he's in this unit this year. Each year, I always try to add a little something extra. So we'll be talking about Stevie Wonder and how he can play 8 different instruments, though he is visually impaired. We're going to be talking about that. And I'm going to do some activities where the children are going to make an instrument. So really just making connections with all these wonderful Black trailblazers who are really special, that we definitely need to know about, who are probably not being taught in certain schools and whatever, but they will be taught in my program. And then we're going to close out with Augustus Jackson, the father of ice cream, and we're going to make ice cream in a bag. We're going to make homemade ice cream. And talk about how people had to make their ice cream at home. We couldn't always just go to the store and get a gallon of ice cream. So it all ties in. It's very hands-on, and probably one of the best units I've ever taught. I'm really proud of it.
Oh, am I on? Oh, hey. So I am really loving this, because there's another part of this that I think you said is hands-on. It's 4 weeks, y'all. So you have something to do for 4 whole weeks. But not only that, it incorporates the ELA, the math, the social studies. You're able to touch on multiple things and actually get enriched in multiple ways. And so if you are interested in this, you're not too late.
Nope.
Because it starts February the 3rd.
Absolutely.
The then and now. And so if you are feeling like this is something that's definitely that you are interested in and you would like to do, please go to Allison is at it's Tutor Tots, that's right, at tutortots.com. If you want to learn more information about it and click on it. But she also you also have another option that is something interesting. You actually are in homeschool cooperatives, micro schools, parents one-on-one in groups. And so can you talk more about how you have been able to just diversify the audience, let's say, of who has access to Tutor Tots?
Yes, I'm really excited about this. So primarily, starting off, I work mostly with parents. Parents sign their children up, and we have small group classes that meet weekly. So like, as you see, this upcoming unit is 4 weeks long. I do a new unit every month. We meet Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays for 1 hour on Zoom from 11 to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on Thursdays, we have a 45-minute social time where the kids just come on Zoom and just get to hang out with their friends. Now for February, because it's Black History Month, and Black History is special, and I just had so much that I wanted to do for that unit. I'm actually doing class on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So I'm throwing in an extra day of academics and just fun engagement, no additional cost. So that's from me to the community. Okay, that's for us. So I want y'all to really take advantage of that. So that's 4 days a week for the next 4 weeks. And my new initiative is that I just feel like I put so much into these units, this curriculum, and I want more children to benefit from it. So I've been reaching out to homeschool co-ops, micro schools, in private schools, and I want to push into classrooms. I want to push into more groups in schools, virtually with my programming. So I do have self-paced courses. I record all of my classes, so I can provide the learning kits and send them to your schools, and you can follow along that way. And then also, if you want the live option, if you want me to personally teach your group of learners, I would love to do that as well. I work with, the group that I work with now, we have about 5 or 6 learners per group, but Tutor Tots, we need to expand. I just feel like the group of kids I've been working with this year, their reading has grown so phenomenally. I've had children that come in and, we were still trying to learn A from B, and now we're reading this month. We're moving up to level C books. So I'm just so proud of the growth, and I want to see that for more of our children. So if you know anybody who may be interested, anyone who is watching this, like, reach out to me if you have any ideas of how I can expand and push into more co-ops, more groups. I'm all here for it, especially for this unit right here, because this one is special.
And so if you wanted to reach out to Allison, please, her email is at the bottom of the screen. It is Allison@tutortotsonline.com. That's tutortotsonline.com. And so if you want to speak to her more, but also if you want to talk to Allison in person, Allison will be an exhibitor at the Flourish Family Homeschool Conference that is this Thursday and this Friday, our annual homeschool event in which we are just excited to be able to be of service to the community in so many ways and really showcase that our families are just excited to be welcomed into the Parent as Educator movement. I often say, welcome to the Parent as Educator movement. You are doing an amazing job. This is something that's really important. And so we just want to be here, as I say, to be of service to you in that way. So please, 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 if you want to, if you're coming to the Flourish Family Homeschool Conference, please check us out. Here is our Here is our website for the Flourish Family Homeschool Conference. And Allison will be there. But also, Allison, you are also a member of another organization that is a group of innovators like yourself, and that is the Black Micro School ATL. And y'all support each other in business and in other endeavors and with programming. Can you talk more about that a little bit, about your involvement with them?
Oh my goodness. I mean, being a part of this group has really helped me in so many ways. Okay. The opportunities that have been presented, the connections and the networking has been awesome. And the uplifting of just being around like-minded people who are all really, we all want the same end goal. We're all working towards helping children get the best quality education that there is. We all want our kids to have the best futures possible, whether we're working with the babies like me, or upper grades, middle school, and high school. We recently had a meetup for brunch on the day of the inauguration. I didn't know how much I needed to be around that group and that energy on that day. But yes, it's a phenomenal group. I would recommend anyone who has a micro school or any type of homeschool program to join, because this will be my second year. And I mean, just the connections alone have been great. I mean, that's how I met Nicole. So and found out about Flourish and your conference, which I've attended before, which is phenomenal. How I found out about the Atlanta School Choice Expo that we were at today. I mean, so just great opportunities, great networking, and just a great group of women and men are welcome too, and men, just to be around and to help each other and to partner together, because we need each other. it's all about community at this point. We need to be together, working together, in helping our community. So
Yeah,
definitely
so
check out
just
Homeschool.
so you can get a little bit more connected, there, if you want to take time, you can actually look them up on Google. I'm trying to see what what their website is. It's at pastnetwork.org. But if you go to pastnetwork.org, you'll be able to find their information. I'll put it on the screen. I will put it on the screen. But this is Black Micro Schools ATL. And so they are having a fundraiser that is coming up, and it is called Tapas and Toast. And so this is an evening where we come together and we have several. April has curated a menu with wine and a combination of different dishes along the way. It's more sophisticated than Flourish, but still at Flourish we love our Chick-fil-A. So hey. But if at the end of Flourish on the next day, on February 1st, you want to go and have an event where it's a date night, then you can go to Tapas and Toast and actually at the same time help out with this community of educational entrepreneurs. So, Allison, before we go, I guess I'm trying to think, what can I ask you? So one of the questions I guess I'll ask you, because since you work with so many littles, what would be your number one piece of advice for a parent who is trying to hold that little heart and steer them toward education? What would you say to that parent as to the thing in which they should do to make that experience beautiful, to make that experience nurturing, and to actually create educational legacy in that child?
Oh, that's easy. I would say, and this is kind of like teacher 101, but children pick up on how you feel about a certain thing. Whatever your attitude is towards homeschooling, towards a certain subject, children can pick up on that. So let's say if math is not your thing, they can tell. They're going to be able to tell based off of the lessons that you prepare, the activities that you do. If you're only doing 15 minutes and you're huffing and puffing throughout the lesson, they're going to pick up on it, and it might rub off on them. So if you go towards things, even if you don't like it so much, even if it is stressing you out, don't show that to them. We have to come into the room ready. Oh, look at this new lesson we're doing today. This is about to blow your mind, and make sure it actually is engaging and fun, right? We don't want to be disingenuous about anything, but kids will pick up on it. I've noticed that, like, especially when I was working in schools, like teachers who were not really good at teaching writing usually would have a classroom full of children who were not good at writing, because they would hate when the writing block would come up. So they would rush through it. The lessons were whack and the writing scores were not good. So you have to go at it with the same attitude that you want your child to have at it. So that would be my advice. When I show up on camera, everything I'm teaching is the bomb. We're about to have so much fun with this addition activity. We're about to have a great time writing these sentences and putting periods at the end of everything. We're about to have a blast reading this book today. Everything I'm super excited about it, and it rubs off on them. So I would say match the energy, match the attitude that you want to see from them.
Yeah, so I think that in our space of homeschooling, that that matching the energy, we have a lot of parents who are in that space where they're trying to navigate the all the parts of just being everything. And so when you come to the Flourish Family Homeschool Conference, we actually are talking about that too, that matching of the energy, the providing that space, because we are going to be doing a workshop this time, and it's going to be over mental health and homeschooling. So it can be stressful. And if you have a lot of littles and a lot of people underfoot, I mean, my sister, she homeschools also. She has 7 sons. So you can imagine
Wow.
what the household is like. Yeah, I have 4. That's nothing compared to the 7 over there. So they are amazing. And she's working and she's doing those things. But at the same time, all parents need to have that respite space, because it's hard to create nurture when you do not feel nurtured. So that is something that we really would like to see. We want parents to experience. And so come on out to the Flourish Family Homeschool Conference. When we're at the conference, one of our first keynote speeches will actually be about culturally relevant cultural restoration and how to integrate heritage and healing into our homeschooling journey. And so when Allison was talking about specifically about how she has the then and now age appropriate history lesson for the littles, this is something that we're going to be talking about here. We're going to be talking about how do you integrate the things that you find to be important that are culturally valuable. Right now, we are living in an environment that is saying we need you to not speak about anything that makes you different. We need you to be quiet. We need you to sit in the corner. And so as a homeschooler, this is why I value the freedom of homeschooling, because you're not going to tell me what I'm going to talk to my kids about and teach them at home. So if I decide to go into as much history as clear as I would like to in whatever direction, that is what we are able to do. And so we're going to be talking more about that space of that and how you're actually securing an educational heritage and legacy for your children. Because in the African-American tradition of storytelling, I often feel like much of my homeschooling that I'm doing with my children, and I'm pretty sure Allison has this too, you're literally doing storytelling. You're engaging the child and they want to learn more. So please come to the Flourish Family Homeschool Conference right now. Within our code for the conference, it is already built into the code for you to have 35% off when you go for your tickets, 35% off. So go ahead and do that. But I'm looking like, why am I still here? But sometimes the assets that I'm using, they kind of say, no, I don't want to go away. But no, I wanted to say thank you, Allison, for being here. And once again, if you're trying to get in touch with Allison or reach out to her, please go to tutortotsonline.com to learn more about her curriculum and the things that she's offering. Also, you can see her in person at the Flourish Family Homeschool Conference and get to meet her and talk to her. But if you have even more questions and you say, hey, I need to talk to her now, go ahead and shoot Allison an email. She will love to have that conversation with you. And so we just want to say thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Nicole. You are a burst of energy. I want to give you your flowers. You're really just a wealth of knowledge, tons of energy. I don't know where you get all your energy from. I need a little bit of it, but thank you for even just having this platform for all of us to share. So we appreciate you.
No, y'all are really cool people. Like, it's not hard to share about cool people. And I say all the time, like here at Flourish, that, you know, everybody gets to see my face, but this homeschool community actually has a bunch of coordinators behind me who are pushing me forward and saying, go do it, try it, do the next thing, who are guiding, doing everything from helping to write press releases to planning this conference. So I'm just the public face for now because I talk too much, but but I have been blessed to actually be in community. And I have to say, I know a lot of people were lamenting the pandemic, and it was a bad time. But during the pandemic is where I got the time to sit still and figure out what I would like to do differently. Mm-hmm. And that was also the time where I started to meet so many different people and everything. And that was also during the time where I was like, I'm going back to school. I'm gonna get my bachelor's degree. Mm-hmm. So, and everything. And so, side note, I would like to get my master's. I'm gonna push myself toward it. at some point. I keep telling myself, you're going to do this. But I've met so many amazing, intelligent women who have just done so much. And so I would like to say to you that keep on doing what you're doing. We are in awe of you, and the world, us, we are saying our prayers and issuing to you good work, Godspeed, and we thank you for being a service to our babies.
Thank you so much.
So once again, if you want to reach out to Allison, go ahead and check out tutortotsonline.com. As for us here at the Flourishing Conversation podcast, we want to thank her once again for being here. See y'all next time. I think we'll be doing something tomorrow. I'm not sure. So I'm always so last minute. But please enjoy your weekend. Be blessed. Get some rest. And hopefully we will see you next week at the Flourish Homeschool Conference.
Yes, come.
So, bye.